Wenberg out the other side. Forsling for Wenberg. He shoots. Let's go home, baby. Alex Wenberg. 3-2 Florida.
Welcome to Project Panthers, a weekly podcast discussing your Florida Panthers. Now, here's your host, Brunswick.
What a week. I am your host, Brunswick. The show is Project Panthers, and what a week it's been in Panther territory. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, you are hearing it either on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts by searching Project Panthers. You can also tweet us at Proj Panthers on Twitter. That's Proj Panthers. You'll find us on Instagram by searching Project Panthers Pod. And now on Facebook by also searching Project Panthers. Cats record currently sits at 26-9-4 as of the time of this recording. That is good for first place in the entire NHL. The Cats had a great week, going 4-0-0 on the back of some great goaltending and some uncommon heroes. So let's not waste any more time. First game of the week was Tuesday night against the Red Wings. Panthers were without Alexander Barkov again in this one, as well as Patrick Hornqvist. We learned before this game that defenseman Aaron Ekblad will be out approximately 12 weeks with a fractured leg. So you know everyone in Panther territory is hoping for a speedy recovery for Mr. Ekblad. First game back from a road trip, it can be tough to get the legs going. You've been home for a little bit, maybe sleeping a little bit longer in your comfy bed, staying up a little later, watching TV. You know how it goes. But not the Panthers in this one. They start even faster than they did on Dallas on Saturday, with Huberdeau finishing off an opportunity in tight just 17 seconds into the contest. Mason Marchment gets a helper on this one, scoring his first point in 10 games. Nice to see him get back on the score sheet after getting 6 points in his first 9 games with the Panthers and then slowing down offensively a little bit. Good start for the Cats. Duclair finds Verhaeghe and he's stopped on a breakaway opportunity. Incredible speed through the neutral zone, and Cardi V was in the clear from the blue line, but Calvin Pickard gets the blocker out and makes the stop. So nice little setup by Duclair and almost a finish by Cardi V. Cats get the first power play of the night. Very different look for them on both units, actually, with Ekblad, Horny, and Barkov out. That's 3 of your 5 main contributors on your first power play. So a few other guys are going to get opportunities with those guys out. Vetrano hits the goalpost, but that's about the most eventful thing that happens in the 2-minute chance. I really like Owen Tippett on the off wing. We all know he's got an absolute bomb of a shot. I think if the team can get him going on that side, he is yet another weapon for this team to utilize on a power play. Just got to get his confidence going a little bit. Not long after the power play ends, Duclair, he does his best Barkov impression and finds Cardi V in the slot, who proceeds to rip it top shelf for his 16th of the season and a 2-0 Panthers lead. Another great setup from Duclair to find Cardi V, but this time they converted. Really great pass from Anthony Duclair. Less than a minute later, Brett Connolly takes a page out of the imitation book and does his best to emulate Patrick Hornqvist by redirecting a shot from the point by Gustav Forsling and finds the back of the net. The sweet relief on Con Man's face after scoring this goal. I think everyone in the arena and everyone watching at home could feel the weight being lifted off of his shoulders. I could feel it up here in Canada, I'll tell you that much. This is only Connolly's second goal of the year, and if you remember, the first one was an empty netter. So, you know, nothing like beating an NHL goaltender, and that's the first time he's done that this season. So it must have felt great, and it definitely looked that way. Also, this was Connolly's 100th career NHL goal, so not sure if he's the kind of guy that pays attention to his stats, but if he is, then that number was probably lingering over his head for a while as well. Fortunately for the Red Wings, the coaches beamed Calvin Pickard back up to the USS Enterprise after a tough start, despite having some great games in Columbus. The previous weekend, the Wings were rolling pretty well in their previous games going into this one, but Panther killer Thomas Greiss takes over for Captain Pickard. Red Wings get a couple of chances after the goalie swap, as you usually do, build a little bit of momentum. The team gets a bit of a fire lit up under their ass when the coach boots the goaltender out, especially when Pickard wasn't even playing poorly. None of the goals that he gave up, I would say, were on him at all. Just defensive breakdowns on the Red Wings' part. Huberdeau draws his second penalty of the period not long after, but the Cats can't make it a 4 spot before the period ends. Huberdeau was a possessed man this entire period, and he really looks like he's taking the brunt of the responsibility of this team with Barkov and Hornquist out. So after his game on Sunday, he kind of picked up where he left off. Really nice to see. Wings come out with some energy in the second period, but Bobrovsky holds them off. Nudi Vara takes an offensive zone penalty. There's just no need for it. A bit careless, in my opinion. It allowed the Red Wings to build up some momentum, and they kind of had this period flowing a little bit better for themselves than the first period. They get a goal past Bobrovsky as Dylan Larkin finds Pavel Zadina, who rips a top shelf over Bob's shoulder. You kind of knew this was coming as the Wings built momentum. But this doesn't stop the Panthers. They up the pressure with this Red Wings goal and start tightening up defensively. Cardi does a great job hustling to the puck behind the net after Owen Tippett does a good job holding it in. Cardi gets it out in front, bounces off of Grice's back, and it at first, and it kind of looks like Louis Starnen actually batted it out of the air, just to the naked eye, but the replay showed that it did not actually touch Louis Starnen's stick, so Verhaeghe gets his second goal of the night, 3-goal lead for the Panthers. That's 5 goals for Cardi V in his last 3 games, 13 points in his last 12 outings, so he's really stepping up with key guys out and continues his hot streak. Another scary moment for the Panthers to end the period, though. Anthony Duclair grabs a puck from Verhaeghe, dekes in on Grice, who then proceeds to trip Duclair on said deke. I saw some talk online about this possibly being intentional, but I watched the replay a few times. There's no inclination that Grice intended this to happen. I mean, the play happened so quickly. Grice's stick did not come out extra early, as some had implied. It was a pretty routine play on him to try and poke check the puck away from Duclair. And unfortunately, Duclair came in with too much speed and just caught his stick and went shoulder first into the boards in a heap of pain. Trainer comes out to check on him. A frustrated Duclair makes his way to the trainer's room, and you can tell he's obviously in some discomfort and probably realizes he might be out for a little bit of time. Cats really can't afford to lose any more players up front, and Duclair has really stepped up his game over the last couple of weeks. Tough loss again for the Panthers if he's out for a while. A game got a bit chippy in the third. Both teams exchanged some chances, but Bob was huge throughout the evening. Looking confident, looking good out there. Cats end up holding on to the lead for the 4-1 victory. Main takeaways in this one, the way this team came out was really great to see. They had all the excuses in the book for a loss tonight. It's first game back from a road trip, bunch of key players injured. You just lost your best defenseman for the rest of the season. But no, they put their heads down and they hustled. A really great effort from guys like Verhaeghe, Huberdeau. They really carried the team tonight. Everyone in the lineup chipped in for this one, and a huge 3-0 lead in the first period made all the difference because Detroit got better as the game progressed. So like that early lead was really key in keeping them down. But Bobrovsky was again a really big difference tonight. This game could have easily been tied up by Detroit. Panthers got a bit lackadaisical, but every time they did, Bob was there. Specifically in the second period, he was like a human highlight reel, honestly. Extending his pass to make dramatic saves and reading angles well throughout. Bob always plays the Red Wings well, partly due to the fact that they've been kind of bad for the last few seasons, but no game in the NHL is a gimme, so really great effort for him as he continues to turn around his season and play great in goal. Everyone just wants to see more of this version of Bob, so really happy to see that for him. Panthers' next game of the week was back again against the Red Wings on Thursday night. Ryan Lomberg slotted back into the lineup for this one. We learned following Tuesday's game that Anthony Duclair will be out approximately 7 to 10 days with an upper body injury. Panthers start throwing the body around a little bit, but unfortunately Riley Stillman loses his helmet, forcing him to immediately go to the bench because of the new rules in place, forcing a player to leave the ice if they lose their helmet as a safety precaution. Wings take advantage of this little mishap, and they exploit it. Cats are down a guy. They get a redirection goal from Adam Ernie. Goes right by Drieger for an early 1-0 lead for the Red Wings. That was Detroit's first shot, as they didn't have much action offensively before this goal. So Panthers doing a good job physically, but just a little unfortunate circumstances led to this goal. Lomberg has an active first few minutes, really wanted to make his presence felt, and in his return to the lineup, he drops the gloves with Detroit's Giovanni Smith. And props to Lomberg for taking this fight, as Smith is about half a foot taller than Lomberg and definitely had a reach advantage in this one. But Lomberg held his own, and he did a pretty good job to try and rile up the boys and get a goal back. So nice to see Lomberg contributing in ways like that. Verhaeghe catches a nice stretch pass from Uyghur, but just misses it top shelf on the backhand. Cats keep pressing. Verhaeghe is all over the ice in this one again. This time grabs a pass from Yandel, makes his way towards the net, dances around some Red Wings defenders, and gets the puck to Noel Acciari, who wins the battle in front and bats the puck home to tie it up. Acciari continues to step up in Barkov's absence. Now wearing the A on his shoulder or on his jersey. It's nice to see for Acciari, a guy who's always praised in this lineup and now getting a bit of an expanded leadership role with Barkov out. You saw the story about him seeing the A on his jersey. And then he talked about how the guys started noticing in the locker room, and it kind of became a talking point, a little bit of a thing to hype around. So great for Noel Acciari and great for this team. They really do a great job of rallying around each other. That's what we've heard this season all year long, from the Ryan Lomberg being super positive to Noel Acciari talking about the boys getting around him, to Bobrovsky constantly talking about how great the locker room is. It's they've built a nice culture there. Quite a turnaround from the season before. Wings started pushing back in this one, though. Panthers start getting a bit apprehensive, not really finishing their checks. Definitely not like they were in the first few minutes, that's for sure. Puck's not getting deep, just hesitating a bit. This obviously led to some chances for the Wings. Adam Ernie hit a goalpost inches away from his second of the period. Cats survive unscathed. Period ends 1-1. So I think Cats got a little bit fortunate there, kind of lackadaisical again. But they came out with some energy in the second. Verhaeghe really the driving force of offense for this team in this one. Cats get a power play midway through the period. Generate a couple of good chances, but once again, taking shots again on net. Keeping it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, right? This is the KISS method. They get nothing for it, but at this point, they're all over the Red Wings, and this power play helps build a lot of momentum. The Wings are playing a 1-2-2 formation in this one against the Panthers, and the Panthers are exploiting it by sending three guys deep often. This style creates a man advantage down low for a brief moment that allows the Panthers to get chance set up, and with how active Florida's defense is, it opens up a lot of space for the Panthers to work, whether they choose to carry the puck in or dump and chase. The separation created by that speed coming through the neutral zone and deeper into the zone gives the Panthers an opportunity, especially with how quick they are with the puck. They really are good with their decision making. That's a strength that Coach Q and the team coaching staff has started to utilize more for this squad. Cats get a power play late in the second, but Grice continues to be the Panthers' kryptonite, making save after save. It looks like another one of those games where Grice is just going to rob the Panthers of a victory. Then in the final seconds of the second period, though, Jonathan Huberdeau takes an awkward hit in the offensive zone and drops to the ice, starts favoring his leg, limps off as the seconds of the period expire. This is now officially a curse, right? Like, is Huberdeau out? We don't know at this point, but going into the third period, it feels like this team is cursed. One of the best starts in franchise history, and within a week, 3, now maybe 4 of your best players are out? Are we all hallucinating? What the hell is happening here? But good news. All this panic is for naught, as Huberdeau is back for the third period. Game starts getting really chippy in the third period, actually. And if you think about it, these teams have played each other almost 8 games at this point. This is their 8th and final game of the season. That's 8 games in less than 3 months. That makes the probability of things boiling over at some point much higher than usual. Giovanni Smith gets in his second bout of the night. This time taking on Riley Stillman. Looks like Smith got the better of this one, but Riley got a couple shots in near the end. But Giovanni Smith is one tough customer. Seriously. Quite the hockey player, that guy. Fast forward a few minutes. Bit of a tussle in the neutral zone as Tippett and Strawman get caught watching the puck. Anthony Mantha takes advantage of this, gets behind the defense on a 2-on-1. He elects to shoot instead of passing. Scores his 10th of the season. Gives the Red Wings a 2-1 lead with 13 minutes to go. Not great. Again, that speed in the neutral zone being exploited by the opposite team against the Panthers. Detroit doesn't have the speed that Chicago and Nashville does, but they have guys that do have it, and Mantha made them look silly here. Huberdeau draws a penalty a couple minutes later, but the Panthers do not look great. Wings seem to just have a lot more energy, and they're doing a good job of keeping the Panthers on the perimeter and challenging them aggressively. And we all know how much the Panthers struggle with an aggressive style penalty kill. Panthers like to kind of take their time and move the puck around and use their mojo, but if a team is all over them, they get rattled. They do. They really do. However, Wings defenseman John Merrill comes out of the box and after the Wings kill the penalty, and just about 5 seconds later after, he says, "Hey Panthers, why not have another power play? I feel bad for you. You deserve another chance." So he proceeds to shoot the puck over the glass back to the box with him. This time the Cats do not waste any time. Huberdeau wins the battle on the boards, gets it to Cardi V, who proceeds to find Vetrano wide open for the one-timer. Tie game. This is Frankie V's first goal in 10 games. He's been very hot and cold this season, as he kind of is his whole career. He kind of goes through these little streaks. It's the nature of the kind of player he is. But, it felt good for him, much like Connolly in the previous game, to get this one. So, get the little monkey off the back. Wings do a much better job in the third, though. They did a really good job in this period, winning board battles, creating space for themselves. They looked a lot similar to how the Panthers were in the second period. So, much improved hockey team, these Red Wings, honestly. Game gets to OT. Cats really showed their speed in overtime. We've seen how impressive they can be in overtime when they hold the puck. The only time I've really seen them timid this year in overtime was against the Carolina Hurricanes, and it's burned them. So hopefully that changes in future games if they do reach overtime. But they were really impressive in this one. And the secondary guys are going to get more of an opportunity with Barkov and Hornqvist and Duclair out. Mr. Alex Wenberg takes advantage of this. He one times a pass from Gustav Forsling for the OT winner. Didn't even realize it went in right away. Sort of delay celebration on Wenberg. I guess he didn't see the puck, according to his post-game interview. Cats are now 4-0-0 without Barkov and Hornqvist in the lineup. So 4-2-0 without Barkov, 4-0-0 without Hornqvist and Barkov. Seemed like Panthers had possession for the entire OT period. They were dominant. OT hero Alex Wenberg really has improved, and one of my main takeaways from this game was his play and his improved face-off statistics. I touched on this a bit in the midseason review, but over his last 13 games, he's won 57.8% of his face-offs, 122 of his last 211 draws. A huge improvement over his 42% he was hitting at an earlier clip this season, and well above his career average of 46.1%. It really does seem like the coaching staff has put a real focus and onus on this facet of his game, and it's paid off. I remember saying that I didn't think he was able to improve this skill. I really thought he was kind of going to be this 46, 47% face-off guy for the rest of his career. And maybe he will revert back to old habits and old numbers as his career progresses, but as of right now, he's improving quite a bit, and I'll eat crow on this one because he's killing it in the face-off circle, and I make a point to notice those numbers every night, and it looks like he's almost always above 50%. So, really great turnaround from Alex Wenberg, especially in the face-off circle, as that was a key point for us fans watching his play early on in the season. Great defensively, but just can't trust him to win a face-off in his own zone. So if he can continue to nail that part of his game, just another tool for a great all-around player like him. Chris Driedger continues to get it done for this team. Posts another impressive game, this time with a .926 save percentage. Only 2 of his 16 starts this year, he's finished with a save percentage under .900 for the game. One of those was against Tampa Bay, so I'll even excuse that one, to be honest. He really gives his team a legitimate chance to win almost every single night, and it's great to see. The Driegites are out. I love Driedger. I want him to be part of this team for a very long time, and there's some talk about him possibly getting moved soon, with Spencer Knight signing the 3-year contract and him being up with the team now. But I don't see that happening. Coach Q and Bill Zito have stressed the importance of having 2 goaltenders, and the way that Coach Q has used his 2 goaltenders this season The value of having two guys down the stretch and going into the playoffs that can win you games on any night. Some guys just don't have it on certain nights. Sometimes you're just not feeling it. And having a trust in your backup goaltender or the goaltender coming off the bench, whether it's Bobrovsky or Drieger, huge. Next game for the Cats was Saturday night against the Blue Jackets. Actually, before I get into this game, I really just want to say the Detroit Red Wings are a really well improved hockey team. I think they're we're not going to see them again for the rest of the season. In this, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. So this is likely the last time we'll see them this season. I just wanted to say that they look really good. The coaching staff and Steve Yzerman, the player personnel he's put in there, the franchise he's building. He's doing a great job, and I think the Red Wings have a great future ahead of them. Really good prospects in the cupboard right now, waiting to make their jump into the NHL. They're going to be a good team in a few years, a very, very good team in a few years, and they're going to be scary. I think they're developing a defensive structure that they didn't have last year and in years prior. They kind of looked lost on the ice, but now they look to have structure. They have a real plan going to play every night. So it's nice to see, because the Red Wings have, for me growing up as a hockey fan, they were a team that was always dominant. So it's a pleasure to see a team that has struggled over the last little while get back to their greatness again eventually. They're not there yet, obviously, but I think they will get there again, but hopefully not at the expense of the Panthers, because that would suck ass. All right. So Saturday night, back against Columbus. Barkov and Hornqvist are back in the lineup for this one. Also in the lineup is newly signed free agent defenseman out of college, Matt Kiersted. Kiersted spent his last 4 years at the University of North Dakota, a really great hockey program up there. He was a coveted free agent. 22 other teams apparently wanted to sign this kid. Very coveted at the end of this collegiate season. He averaged almost a point per game over his last 2 seasons with North Dakota. Panthers were the front runners with Ekblad out for an extended period of time. The fact that they'd get him in the lineup so quickly, I think that likely helped sway Kiersted's decision in signing with the team. Only a 2-year entry-level contract, though, for him, as he will be 23 in a couple of weeks. So the max length he can still be on a entry-level deal is 2 years, with the cutoff for entry-level deals being the age of 25 in the NHL. That's why the Panthers were able to sign Spencer Knight to a 3-year entry-level contract. That is the max length, 3 years, because he's only 19 years old. Teams are pretty fun, pretty even for the first 15 minutes of this game, as indicated by the shot counts as well. You can tell it was in Columbus's game plan going into this one to throw the body around and play the Panthers physically. They're all over the Panthers. Really, they really are. I'd say they got the better of the chances up to this point through the first period. Bob made some good saves along with some help from his goalpost, but the teams finished scoreless after one. Panthers start the second on the back half of a power play, but they failed to generate too much. They kind of get into the old habits of passing the puck around a little too much. A few minutes later, though, the Cats get some pressure. Barkov picks the puck up behind the net, works his way to the half boards, finds Mackenzie Weegar on the opposite side, makes an absolutely stunning cross-ice pass, and Weegar roofs it for his third goal of the season. It's just a chef's kiss of a pass from Barkov. Really great pass on that one. Weegar just, what a finish, too. Nice little wrister that Weegar has, honestly. He should use it more often. I love the wrister from the point. Less than a minute later, Vetrano gets a pass from Hornqvist in the neutral zone. He breaks in on a 2-on-1 with Wenberg, kind of seemingly out of nowhere. Sauce is a beautiful pass over to Wenny. Wenny one-times into the back of the net. Or does he? The official behind the net calls no goal as the play continues, despite it looking like it hit the middle of the middle bar in the back of the net and bounced out really quickly. On TV, it looked like it went in immediately, but I guess the ref saw something different. Play continues till we get a stoppage. They give Toronto a call. Quick overhead view indicates the puck did indeed pop in. Toronto gives them the official go-ahead. And good goal. Wenberg scores his 9th goal of the season against his former team. Or 9th goal of the season. First, I believe, of the year against his former team. Hornqvist gets on the score sheet with secondary assists. So now both Barkov and Horny have contributed on the score sheet immediately in their first games back. You'll love to see it. Cats keep the pressure coming. Wenberg gets a pass from Uyghur, gets some speed through the neutral zone, and rips a beauty under Merzlikins' arm for his second of the period, and now 10th goal of the season. You could argue maybe Elvis should have made the save on this one. The shot was a little bit from far away, but when you're hot, you're hot. And Wenberg, well, he's en fuego right now. Wenberg, he's had the renaissance of a season, honestly. 141 games with the Blue Jackets over the last 2 seasons, regular seasons. Wenberg potted only 10 goals in that entire span. That's including only 2 goals in his last 75 regular season games. He has matched that total in only 38 games this season. So not even half of a regular NHL season. It's been a pleasure to watch him find his offensive game again. And you can tell the effects of Huberdeau and Hornquist on his line are really paying dividends for him. Cats do not let up, though, despite the 3-0 lead. With how well they're moving their feet up and down the ice, the Blue Jackets simply cannot keep up with the Panthers. Panthers doing everything they can to take advantage of the space that they're creating for themselves in the neutral zone with the speed. The Jackets they're not like the Blackhawks or the Predators. They're a big bruising team, right? So they got to grind their way to victory. Sometimes that style works, especially in the playoffs. The style is great for the playoffs when the game is just slower and every decision is just a little more calculated. It was working for them in the first period in this one, but the energy that the Panthers brought in the second and moving forward, it was just too much to handle for the Jackets and their style of play. When a team is skating as hard as the Panthers are, when the team is skating as well as the Panthers were in this one, they were one of the best in the league, honestly. As long as they can bring that energy, they're just dominant. Jackets get a couple of shots, but Bob is there for the chances. At this point, the Blue Jackets are actually out shooting the Panthers by a few shots, by 6, but they don't have any sustained pressure. I was genuinely puzzled. And I had to look online to another score sheet to confirm that the Jackets were actually leading in shots by what they were, because it felt like the Jackets had 4 shots in the period, not 15 that they were credited with. But they did come out with some purpose in the third, really pressuring the Panthers. And they were rewarded with a goal as Bob leaves a juicy rebound for Oliver Bjorkstrand, and he scores his 14th goal of the season. So a nice little year for him. Panthers need to tighten up here, but the Jackets aren't going to lay down, so they got to keep it going. They can't just expect an easy victory. Halfway through the third, Owen Tippett pokes the puck away from Zach Werenski in the defensive zone. Nice little play by him. Gets himself a breakaway. Jonas Corposalo, who came in for Elvis in the third, makes the save, but Vetrano is there to follow up on the rebound. Makes it 4-1 Panthers. Jackets get a late goal back with Werenski continuing his hot streak on a nice little play by the Jackets and a misplay by Keith Yandel. Game closes out nicely, though. Wenberg pots his empty netter from 160 feet away in his own zone. Scores his third of the night. First career NHL hat-trick. And Wenny and his wife actually just announced on Instagram earlier that day that they were going to have a little one along the way. So great little day for Wenberg and his family. Gets the hat-trick. New baby coming along. You knew he was on cloud 9 in this one. Main takeaways. I still don't know how the Blue Jackets ended this game with 46 shots. I really genuinely have no idea. Panthers were all over them tonight, and they played a really good game. Apart from the first period, it felt like they did a really good job of preventing Columbus from having any sustained pressure in their zone, and the team's energy was a real X factor as they brought it from the second period onward. And once again, Bobrovsky just feeling comfortable out there. Team celebrated his 500th career NHL game before this one, and he was fantastic. He's getting better every game, and he really looks comfortable. He looks happy. He was smiling at one point out there. I don't think I've seen him smile so big in a Panthers uniform yet in his career. So, seems to finally be enjoying himself out there. And confidence in sports, especially for goaltenders, is a huge thing. And he's got that in droves right now. I am Brunswick. Thanks again for tuning into Project Panthers. The team was back in action on Sunday. And again, facing the Blue Jackets. I missed the first period of this one. I was making my way home from Easter festivities, so I listened to the first period on the radio. And from the sounds of it, the Panthers started pretty well. Going to this one, I was expecting John Tortorella to light a fire under the Jackets, but that did not seem to happen as the Panthers came out with some energy and generated much better chances than the Jackets. I mean, at least that's how it sounded to me, listening to Doug Plagans on the play-by-play for the Panthers radio call. I also don't listen to radio too much, but I have to say, getting to hear Bill Lindsay on the drive home was such a pleasure. I love Billy, and it's nice to see him found a home. It's nice to see that he's found a home on radio and still with the team. He's got a great mind for hockey, and although he seemed a little bit nervous at times on TV, I think radio was a great fit for him. He's a really good dude, that Billy Lindsay. The teams finished tied after one period. A couple of goose eggs for both of them. Panthers had the shot count favor at 11-8, but Jackets were physical, and they emulated much of what they did in the first period in the previous game by just trying to outbody the Panthers. I did make it home in time for the start of the second, and just in time to see Barkov snipe a shot right past Korpisalo for a 1-0 Panthers lead. Hornqvist and Weegar got the assists on this one. It was a bit of a broken play with the Cats, but they managed to turn it into something and made themselves a goal out of it. Nice shot by Barkov. More and more signs of him working on that one-timer with Laine in the offseason, right? Jackets got a couple of close chances not long after that goal, but Drieger makes the save, and Dominey missed a great chance on the side of the net. It just wouldn't go for him. Cats kept up the pressure the majority of the period, and they definitely were the better team through the first 40 minutes. Despite this, Columbus did do their best to be physical, and this helped generate an opportunity for them late in the period after Carter Verhaeghe got caught hooking in front of the net. This was the first penalty of the game, almost 40 minutes in. Cats killed the aforementioned penalty off to start the third. It's a pretty nice kill from the group, and Radko Gudas had a really good shift. Recovered nicely after a bit of a mistake at his own blue line. He can be surprisingly quick when he needs to be, actually. Game opens up a bit after the Blue Jackets power play, but both goalies made some key saves. Korpisalo looked really good in this one, and Drieger, although not tested that much, was standing tall in the opportunities he did face. Jackets get a 2-on-1 with some speed through the neutral zone. Foligno elects to try and make a pass to Roslovic, but Gustav Forsling does a great job getting back and diving to get his stick on the puck and deflecting it out of harm's way. It's a great heads-up play from Forsling, who just continues to grow game by game. I have talked about his ability to get sticks in lanes before, and this was another great example of that. This actually ended up being a pretty valuable defensive play, because not long after, Vetrano picks up the puck in the neutral zone, and this time he elects to shoot instead of passing like the Jackets did moments before, and the puck gets by Korpisalo. And Cats have their insurance goal. Vetrano's 13th of the season, third goal in as many games after going 10 games without a goal, so he's on that hot streak again. And Vetrano right now, if he was playing in a regular 82-game season, he would be on pace to set a new career high in goals. So really good season from Frankie V right now. And Panthers did not let up. Weegar does a great job of batting the puck out of the air while skating backwards impressively. As the Jackets pressed up ice, Barkov gets it on his stick. He waits ever so patiently on the half boards until Gustav Forsling enters the zone. Barkey makes a tape-to-tape pass to Forsling, and he beats Korpisalo glove side for the comfortable 3-0 lead versus the Blue Jackets. Jackets tried their best to generate some chances late. Mason Marchman takes a call near the end of the game, but they just came up short. Can't generate much in the Panthers. And Chris Drieger hang on for the 3-0 victory, giving Driegs his third career NHL shutout and first against a team that's not named the Nashville Predators. It's a really impressive win for the group, sixth straight now, and sitting all alone on top of the NHL standings at the end of this game. Main takeaways from this one: sticking to the game plan continues to work for this team. The coaching staff providing minimal adjustments, but still sticking to the style that's been bringing them success for so long this season, has been a recipe for that said success all year long. As a player, having a coach that believes in your group so much and just continues the cycle of positivity, we've all seen the talk of guys speaking about this locker room and how great it is to be in that locker room. So that faith from your coach and your skill, it's going to lead to victories. It makes you feel good. And as a coach, having a team that buys into your system and game plan every night is just an absolute joy to work with. You don't have any guys fighting because they think they know better. That's a huge thing. And Matt Kiersted was fourth in the team in ice time in this one, on only his second game. This game wasn't completely out of reach, but Kiersted managed to get some important shifts in the third period. He looked a lot more comfortable in this game than he did in this first one, and that's understandable with some jitters in your first NHL game. Very natural and human feeling to have. It was nice for the coaching staff to show some faith in him, though, and Also great for the team that they're in such a great position in the standings down the stretch that they actually have the luxury of being able to audition a guy like Kierstead with little fear of consequences is a liberty that not a lot of teams have in this league. So, and honestly, they're in first place in the entire NHL. They overtook Tampa after this win, although the Bolts and Canes do have some games in hand. They're in first place. Chris Driedger looked solid once again. Now 16 of his 18 starts are above 900 in save percentage. The team is rolling ahead of a really challenging week coming up. Now it's time for 2 points, the world-famous segment of Project Panthers. In the NHL, it's all about getting to 2 points if you want to make the playoffs at the end of the season. So now it's 2 points that we got to discuss that have been essential to the Panthers this week. 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. The crowd is going wild for 2 points. Point number 1, Mackenzie Weegar. I cannot sing this guy's praises enough right now. You know, when Ekblad went down a couple weeks ago against Dallas, a lot of people online were panicking, saying that we might be in trouble. Now, as devastated as I was to see Ekblad go down, I can't say I was ever truly worried about this team. Mackenzie Weegar has blossomed into such a great defenseman this season. He was already looking impressive last season, but I got to admit, I was critical of Weegs earlier this year. I've talked about it a few times on this podcast already. I was seeing a lot of his old habits come back this year. A little too overconfident in his own zone with the puck, often trying to dangle or pressuring forward that at times would lead to a turnover and usually a pretty solid scoring chance for the opposing team. Well, those issues seem to be issues of the past. I would argue that Weegar could be a number one defenseman on a decent number of teams in the NHL right now. He looks that good. He looks so poised and confident out there. He really is a great stay-at-home defenseman with surprisingly good offensive instincts and a deceptively accurate shot when he wants it to be, when he uses that wrister. Slapper? I don't know. Still a little bit left to be desired on that one, but his wrist shot, deceptively accurate, as we saw on Saturday night when he went roof daddy on Elvis. He's matured a ton in this season overall. That's just really all it is. He's matured a ton, and if the Panthers want to have continued success with the absence of Aaron Ekblad, Weegar needs to continue to perform at the high level that he has already this year. And honestly, I don't see any reason why he can't. A chance like this with Ekblad going down is an opportunity for a guy like Weegar to say, hey, I'm not just a product of playing with Aaron Ekblad. I am great and amazing on my own. And I think he's seen this opportunity and seized it. He really has. Point number 2 is goaltending. Both Sergei Bobrovsky and Chris Driedger are playing great right now. All season, pretty much. There's been some rumors floating around about Chris Driedger possibly being traded prior to or on the April 12th NHL trade deadline. Now with goalie prospect Spencer Knight signing a 3-year deal and joining the team earlier this week, it seems like it might be a smart move. To be honest, I just don't see it happening. As I've said before, Coach Q and Bill Zito have stressed the importance of having 2 trustworthy goaltenders multiple times this season. Having both Bob and Driegs pushing each other game by game to be better has been a blessing for this franchise. It really has. I don't see a reason to trade Driedger. His value to this team is infinitely higher with him on the squad than it would be on the trade market. He's still somewhat unproven in the NHL. I don't think his value is anything higher than a second-round pick and maybe a low-level mid-tier prospect, if I'm being honest. That's not a knock on Driedger, not at all. I'm a Drieg guy. I really am. I don't think any NHL general manager would be willing to part with a significant piece, especially during the middle of the season, for his services right now. The flexibility that these 2 goaltenders gives you is an invaluable asset to have. It really is. Countless times over the years, we've seen a hot goalie carry a team deep into the playoffs. The Panthers need to get past the first round, and I strongly believe having both Bob and Driegs on the roster gives them the best chance to win that seemingly unattainable goal of achieving a playoff series victory. Do I think Driedger will remain with the team beyond this season? I don't know. I really don't know. Who can say? I sure hope so. I have no desire to rush Spencer Knight. None. We've seen what can happen when a goalie prospect is rushed. There was once a day that every Panther fan thought Jacob Markstrom was the second coming of Patrick Waugh. Those memories are still vivid in my brain, I'll tell you. Especially that game. Remember that game against Montreal where Markstrom stood on his head? It felt like the winds of change were coming, and boy, were we wrong. But I strongly believe Knight would benefit for some time in the AHL. Drieger's a UFA at the end of the season. He's an unrestricted free agent, meaning he can go anywhere he wants to in the summer if he chooses to do so. I do think he's done enough with this team that he could that another team will definitely give him a shot, maybe for 3 years, $3 to $4 million a season. If Drieger wants to chase success, maybe he signs a sweetheart deal with the Panthers and sticks around for another year or two. Can't believe I just said that out loud, to be honest. But I wouldn't fault him for looking for a nice payday. He's had a good run, and he deserves to get paid for it. Either way, Drieger's been a pleasure to watch in the Panthers, and I will be pretty devastated when he finally does move on from the Panthers. It's like I said, I am a self-proclaimed Driegite. I subscribe to the church letter of the Chris Drieger Church. So, not looking forward to that day when number 60 goes away. But that's going to do it for me, folks. Cats are back in action on Tuesday against the Hurricanes. Couple of huge games in Carolina. The Cats have a chance to expand the gap between them and the Canes, but I do not think it'll be easy. I don't think anyone does. Trocheck is back in the lineup now for the Canes, and he's always playing with a chip on his shoulder against the Panthers, and they will be hungry to get the victories. It's only 3 games for this week for the Cats, so a rare event this season, so a little bit of a break this week. Won't be 4 games, won't be the Saturday-Sunday combo that we usually get. So hopefully we have something to celebrate in 7-ish days or so. Once again, I am Brunswick. Thanks again for listening. Remember, you can send your questions into Project Panthers by emailing us at projectpantherspod@gmail.com. That email, once again, is projectpantherspod@gmail.com. Love to read your questions on the show, so please send them in. You can find us again on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all major podcast platforms by searching Project Panthers. Find us on Twitter and tweet us at Proj Panthers. That's at PROJ Panthers. Find us on Instagram at Project Panthers by searching Project Panthers Pod. And again, we are on Facebook by searching Project Panthers. Appreciate you joining me this week. Take care of yourselves. Have a week.